Hi everyone, we've got a little bit of a different video today. I'm in our loaned Audi Q4 e-tron and there's a little bit of new tech on it that I'd like to have a little look at today, and it's adaptive speed limiter. Now I have had a little go, but I'm not too sure of exactly how it performs in different conditions. Effectively, an adaptive speed limiter is a speed limiter. It will only let you go up to a maximum speed, but it reads the speed signs itself, and these are probably going to be the type of systems that are going to become mandatory on all cars quite soon. So we're going to have a little look at exactly how they work. There's probably going to be ways to turn them off if they do become mandatory on all vehicles. However, it's probably a nice time to have a little look and see what we've got coming up in the near future. I'm going to get going. I'm going to point out certain things. It's not going to be a continual video where I just drive in one sort of like block, if you like. I'm going to split it up to the key points and see how it copes with a few different speed limit changes. We're going to be staying on a variety of roads, to be honest. I'm going to go on a motorway. I'm going to come back down to a 30 limit, and as you can see, we've also got a 20 limit in the estate where I live now. So we're going to see how quickly it adapts and what it does. Let's get cracking. This, I think, is a base Q4 e-tron. I don't think there's any added extras to it. There's not even a reversing camera, so I think this is probably something that comes as standard on this particular model. I'm going to just go through in a moment how it gets set. It will only set, as many speed limiters and cruise control systems do, it will only set above 20 miles an hour. Some vehicles are still unfortunately a little bit higher than that, but it's something that we're going to have a little look at in this car. So we've got a 20 limit in this estate, and the speed limiter and the cruise control is used by a stalk down here underneath the indicator. So I'm going to get out of the estate and then I will get it set. You activate it by actually clicking this towards you, and it's already set on automatic. As you can see, it's not currently possibly in use because we've got to get up to that 20 limit, but it has set me to 20. So when you do actually set it, it sets to that minimum speed limit. Something I didn't know. I'm going to turn right, and there is a speed limit change here to do this right turn. So we're going to see how quickly it actually picks up. There are no signs or no brilliant signage coming out of that particular road, and apparently we just wait for the red light jumpers as per norm. Let's have a little look. It's already gone up to 30 miles an hour. So what I've found out about this system, it's not just recognition. It does use map data and understanding of where the speed limits are to actually do its changing as well. So it's changed to 30. I've had to do absolutely nothing. Let's see whether I can find my way out. I'm driving an Audi, so people will expect certain different things. Doesn't make a change because I'm usually in a BMW anyway, but anyway, I do actually quite like driving this car. By now, when this video goes out, the news about my Tesla will be well released. So yeah, we've got a couple of electric cars, and this is just a loan car, while my wife's car has been ordered. I think I did say in a previous video that we had a couple of problems with the order process, so we've got to wait another few months, but thankfully the dealership has lent us this in the meantime. It is quite a nice place to be. I am going to do a review on this car compared to the Tesla as well, because this was actually one of the vehicles that I was looking at in my choice to go electric for a vehicle for the channel. So the speed limit doesn't change for a while. I'm going to shut up for a bit and just drive, and I'll pick it up when we've got a speed limit change a little bit further up. Obviously with the queuing cars I can't increase my speed, but I'd like to see how quickly it does change. Is it just on visual, or has it got an idea? Now we go past the sign now and it's already changed. So it is quite sharp, it is pretty quick, and it's been exemplary up to now. There is a way to actually turn this off in the settings as well, and that's how I think it should be on these speed limiters. For me, the automatic or the adaptive speed limiters should be on until you turn them off, similar to traction and stability control, because then if you get yourself into a problem and you've turned the adaptive speed limiter off, it's no one's fault but your own. And that's the way I'm suspecting things could probably go. I'm not 100% sure. There's not loads of information on this at this current time, but it is something that I think it started in the EU, and it's something that is going to be adopted on a lot of these cars nowadays. Do you use speed limiters? I've done a video on the difference between cruise control and speed limiters, and like I said, the speed limiter is something that I do tend to use a fair bit, because you have that luxury of adjusting speed and you can back off, and I'm still keeping my space from this Range Rover a bit further up. Now I'm going to do a left turn onto the motorway. I'm going to see how quickly it picks up on the speed limit change. It's obviously a 70 miles an hour limit. Looks as though we've got to wait for the set of lights. So we're still at 40. Legally it does change after this sign. And what's it going to show me? 80 miles an hour. So straight from the off, there's a little bit of work that these adaptive speed limiters have got to do. So yeah, apparently we can do 80 down here. Wow, I don't like the steering. It was pushing me away from that line until I signalled. I know you probably, if you've seen a few of my videos, oh, it's just changed back down to 70. Talk about that in a second. Yeah, you've probably seen a few of my videos where I'm against this lane keep assist until you signal. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's actually pretty dangerous on some situations, because it pushes you in towards parked cars and cyclists when you're going around them. So I don't like that. But just interestingly, I'm not sure why it went to 80 originally and then it jumped back down to 70. It may very well have seen something and then overridden the GPS data that it probably uses about the speed limits. I'm not actually sure. So that proves a point that I did want to talk about, that it's got to be still under our control. We cannot rely on these adaptive speed limiters yet, because they're not perfect. I tell you what will be an interesting one up ahead. I've got to be careful of what's going on behind, but there's a 50 limit. Now, I'm purposefully not going to slow down to 50 like I normally do, and I'm going to see what it does. I'm safe because the Volkswagen behind me is in lane 2, so I've got no one behind me. I'm still doing 58 miles an hour. It's not doing anything yet. Let's see what goes on. It slows down after. So again, legally, that's wrong. Have I really committed an offence there? Yes, I have, because I should have been slow enough before the signs. So again, this proves that we've got to make sure that we're doing things ourselves. It's still down to us to read it. Now I am going to get myself across. because I'm going to follow the signs for Ormskirk, and I'm just backing off myself now for this 40 limit, making sure I'm at 40 before the signs, and let's see how quickly it does pick up on this and change. Yeah, it actually did that before the signs that time, so that was a lot better. Just going to wait for this couple of cars belting down the outside because they want to queue for longer. I'm going to just glide it across. Okay. So interesting that it works in that particular way. I would have thought with data that it probably has got, it knows where the speed limit is coming up and where it changes, and it could start gradually slowing you down. I'm sure there's the technology to do that. So at the moment, like I said, it's still on our shoulders. We've got to still drive this car as it should be. We've got to embrace technology, but we can't just rely on it. It's doing a pretty good job as well at holding me to 40, even with this electric powertrain in this vehicle. As you come up towards the 40 limit, as you're accelerating, it reduces it nice and gradually. I tell you what would be good to find out is to see whether it can be overridden. Now I'm going to pick my time, and unfortunately I may have to break the speed limit again by 1 or 2 in the driving education course, but obviously I'm not going to do it for any more than a couple of seconds. I'm going to pick a decent time to do it. So we're through the lights, no one's around me, it's really clear, there's no chance of pedestrians, so I'm going to get to the 40 limit and I'm going to see whether it can be overridden. I'm going to put my foot further down. Now my foot's to the floor, but I know there's a kick down, so let's use the kick down. So in this electric vehicle, you have to push it down through the kick down for yourself to override it. And that's an important fact to know, because there are, not many occasions, but there are some occasions where you will have to use a little bit of speed to get yourself out of a problem. Most of the time, no. Most of the time slowing down will fix it, but it's important, and I'm glad that this car has got that feature. Of all cars got that feature. Don't know, let me know whether if you've got an electric car and it's got a speed limiter that it has also that capability of overriding it. Just listening to a couple of the sounds there. Was that the wind, or was that the electric parking brake going on? Not sure. Still not used to this car totally. I've only driven it a couple of times, so still getting used to it. The acceleration's impressive though, even though it's not a particularly fast one. That instant shove that you get from electric cars is really good. Got a few speed limit signs up ahead. I wonder how it's going to do with this. I'm on a 40 limit and I'm going to stay on the 40 limit even though this car's crawling. Sometimes I've found with cruise control in my car, or even not necessarily just cruise control, but just the speed as it did. What I was going on to say about there was sometimes in my car, if you could understand that garbled nonsense I was speaking, in my car it's still sticking to 30 as well. Interesting. In my car it reads signs in side roads as on the main road, and this is exactly what this has done. And I'm stuck, my foot's virtually down to the floor, it's not going any faster. So that's something you've also got to be careful of. And it's just spotted that sign to the right hand side and then raised it to 40. So it's not infallible. You have to have that ability as well to know how to cancel it and to deal with things manually. I'm not saying going at 40 miles an hour or going at 30 miles an hour in a 40 limit would have been that bad in that situation. It was quite quiet, but there may be situations that could cause problems. So again, we've got to be in charge. We've got to know exactly how to operate it, and to get rid of the cruise control, you can do it in one click, just away. It's finished, I'm in control, and you click it back and it turns it back on again. So that has to be known when you're operating these systems in the car. So I think that just about wraps it up. Adaptive speed limiters are a thing, not necessarily the future, they're a thing of the present, as you can see, and get used to them, because it is something that is going to be included on, I think, all modern cars very shortly. But all these systems, all the clever stuff that's going on in modern cars, we have to get used to it. They are safety aids at the end of the day, but we've still got to know how to use them to these things, these variable things that are out in front of us. So keep safe, everyone. Let me know what your experiences are of any tech that's similar to I've explained today in the comments, and I'll try and, as I always do, I'll try and read every single comment and get back to us. What's that beeping at? Speed limiter not currently possible because speed's too low. Did it pick up on one of the 20s in the side road momentarily? Might have done. So there you go, rubber stamps it to finish. It's been pretty good, but it's not perfect yet. I'll see you soon.